to Talking with Terry TV. I am your host, Terry Cardula, and you are in for a treat. We have Corynthia
Soul Ascender or Angela? Which one do
you want to bet? Because Soul Ascender way better on Terry's.
Okay,
lingo.
let's do Soul Ascender.
Yeah. Okay. Can I have a magical name too? Can we come up with a magical? Oh, let's come up with a magical name. We are gonna have a magical name by the end of today. Can we channel that?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I want a magical name. I feel like I've deserved, after last year, I deserve a magical name. Okay.
Let's start with the T.
And maybe it's Amy. It comes back as like, it's Amy McCarter. That's it. Amy McCarter. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, if it was.
It won't.
Okay, digress. Okay. Welcome to Talking with Terry TV. I am your host, Terry Cardula, and you are in for such a treat. We have Corynthia Soul Ascender today, and just a little bit about her. She's a channeler of the Galactic beings and the Council of 12, unlocking our innate healing abilities and awakening our Kundalini energy. Like, I am telling you, we're in for a treat. Yes?
Yes.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here.
Well, thank you.
And we have a live audience with us. Let's hear it. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we met at an event. Do you remember that when I was
Yes.
wearing, I brought the real crown?
Yes.
Because it was called a crown event, and I was like, so I told a lady, and I'm like, do you bring your own crowns? And she's like, if you have one, bring it. So I was like, all right, when can you get permission to wear a crown, right? So I bring this big old metal, like, honking crown, right? And I go in, and they all have, like, paper crowns.
With little fake jewels, you put on it, write whatever you want. Look like, Burger King.
They so did. And I'm like, oh, honey. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't know how we survived that night, but we did, and I met you.
Just a few drinks.
I know, but that was the night that I met you, and I was like, I like her. And then we became, like, I feel like I would consider you a friend.
Absolutely.
I mean, we became, like, fast friends, and so I went to one of your workshops, and then I was like, okay, I'm from Midwest, okay, and thankfully I've had a lot of exposure to weird things in my life. So when I met you, I'm like, of course this is how this rolls. So you guys are going to all get to experience her channeling today. It's going to be really powerful. But tell us a little bit about you, your path, and how you got to be where you're at today.
So a lot of my skills, actually, I was born with, and then over the years, they kept growing and growing. I didn't have any teachers. I didn't have anybody really teach me how to utilize my gifts and abilities. And so as a young child, I could see the dead. I could see angels, demons. I could see walk-ins, things like that. I could feel energy. I was very tuned in. And then at age 25, I almost died of Crohn's 3 times, and then my gifts really came in where I could see past lives. I could remote view. became a medical intuitive. On and on. The list was just insane. And so still not having teachers, in my mid-30s, I finally had my first teacher, but it was to a point where I was in an abusive marriage. I was trying to commit suicide. I would just sickly, very, very sickly. Doctors telling me a hypochondriac, nothing wrong with you, all that kind of stuff. Well, right when I was standing at the railroad tracks, I remember looking up and going, I know more than this, but I'm out. This is not my idea of an existence. And I literally got a phone call right then and there from my first teacher that helped me just take my gifts, utilize them in a way that was beneficial, understand how to utilize them in a positive way to help others, and my life just evolved from there.
Wow. I just got chills as you said that, having that moment of standing at the trucks. And not to gloss over that, because I don't know if any of you have been to that moment in your life where you're just not sure that you have the strength to move forward. I've shared a little bit on here before, is like this last year, 18 months for myself has been, and you know some of it because I like to collect people, and so
She's a succubus? No, no, she's not. A succubus, I'm kidding. You're like...
I attract people into my life. Let's reframe this so it doesn't seem like very cult-like. But you know, I just have surrounded myself because it's been like such an intense energy. We're going to be jumping into that because I know we're not alone in this. But that moment where you're like, I cannot see past this, you know, like is there another way? And it's so beautiful that you get this like divinely timed phone call that literally saved your life.
Absolutely. And it was so neat because not growing up with people that were spiritual or understood this and, you know, not having that influence, it was just neat when I, for the first time, had someone go, I see you and I understand and let me help you. And I was just like, thank you. And it was just neat to harness my already gifts and then, you know, add additional gifts to it. And then throughout the years, I had a couple teachers, but it got to a point where I had great teachers and I had bad teachers, which were all teachers. And it was neat because the bad teachers, they were very jealous of my abilities. And at the time I was so ignorant to my gifts and abilities, even though I had all these, I thought there was something wrong with me. And then I was riding my motorcycle one day and I started getting very clear messages from my guides. And I had gotten messages before, but this was like, I understood who and what it was. And they're like, no more teachers, we're your teachers. And it was so wonderful because then they started teaching me how to do the different things I do. And they would go, da, 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 go back to your office and do it. And I'm like, oh, so fun. That's how I really evolved who I am and what I do. They've been amazing teachers and guides for me.
So speaking of that, and I do believe we all have that ability to tap in, tune in, and turn on that ability. Do you have some, I don't know, for folks that may or may not be struggling with that? I'm asking for a friend, obviously. Is there a way that what's a first step or a second step? Because I know some of you are like this is, you're like, whatever, I got this. But like for folks that are listening to this that maybe are in the beginning of their journey, spiritual journey, that want to tap into or learn more about this, like what are some, maybe the first couple steps?
The big one is that we tend to be in our own way. And it's difficult when we are so inundated with the external that we don't know who we are in the internal, or we believe that we are something that we're not. And so it is difficult to get that clear messages or information. And it's, honestly, the first step is just to stop, pause, and just, who am I? What am I really about? And is my belief systems in alignment with who I am? And that's a big one. And it's not easy to start doing that. But once you start getting into it, it gets easier and easier to step into the alignment of actually who you are. But the big one, like I said, get out of your own way, because we are so good at being in our own way and we think too much.
Yes. I mean, asking for a friend, of course. That sounds awful. I'm just kidding. I know that this last year, you know, we're moving into this like year of the snake, which is really exciting. It's like, I see it as like kind of like the schlepping off, you know, but coming out of this last year, it was really intense. I mean, it felt like a flippin' roller coaster, like that had no seatbelts, that had, you know what it reminds me of? Like, so we went down to the Royal Gorge, and have you guys ever played on that swing that goes over the canyons? So my daughter, and I'm an adventure seeker, and my daughter goes, let's pick the one that you're facing the mountain, or you're facing, so when you come out, you kind of go over the ravine. It's like 1,400 feet down below, over the river. So you come over, and when the guy like hooked me up, it had like this like kind of thing that goes in between your crotch and then around. I just said crotch, okay? And my daughter, and there's this option that you can get a video. I'm gonna reenact this. Okay, can I have you be my daughter? And I want you to like kind of look at me like, what's going on, Mom? Okay. So we go over the first time, and I am like, and when he puts it on, I'm like, just if you need to break, you know, some ribs or anything, whatever you need to do, just make it really tight, right? And so I don't even know how I did this, because I was so not in my body, because I was so terrified. So I have my hand in my crotch like Michael Jackson, right? Because it's like this big red thing, right? I did not mean to say that. Anyways, and so we're going back, and we're like, ah! and we watch the video, and this is me, okay? And I think I have like this great fear face. I have the worst fear face. I'm like, And then it comes down and it goes the other way. And I'm like, what? And my daughter's like, is she okay? No, she's okay. Huh. This is like really boring. Like I wish I had some like to knit or something. I mean, she's like unfazed, right? And this keeps going for like, and so like I think I imprinted my hand on the red crotch. But that's what last year felt like for me, okay? I'm just saying, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty. So I wish I would have bought the video because I was like, there's no way I'm buying this video because we don't need to see that, right? Now I regret that. I regret not having that because it was just the funniest thing. My daughter like looking up like, oh, la la la, what the, oh gosh, my mom, she's not having a day, right? Oh my gosh. So then, just in case I didn't learn my lesson, we came back down and then she's like, well, why don't we run it the other way so it goes over so you can't really see the depth of your, you know, where you're gonna die. So it's like, you know what, sure, way better, right? No, it's not way better. Because like, then you just went up to like, there was no clouds in the sky, you went up and you're like, you never knew when it was gonna like crank, because you had no concept of, so then you felt like you're gonna fly off the thing. So I was in the same predicament. I was like, oh my gosh. Anywho, but that's what last year felt like for me. I don't know about you guys. How about you guys? Like, I mean, really quickly, words. Pass around, what was it like for you guys? And if anyone says like donuts and butterflies and unicorns, you're out.
Exactly. Handprint crotch. Yeah.
Handprint
crotch.
Anyone else want to share?
Slapped in the face with the handprint crotch.
Yes, okay, I'm not alone here. Take that fuzzy, put it up to your mouth.
A rough and rigid red handprint crotch.
Oh my gosh, I think we just like...
Oh that's only for the ride, right? Not for life?
I know, oh my gosh. Excited. I got a little excited. Okay, anyone else? Anyone else? Oh my gosh. Okay. And what was it like for you?
It was actually pain in my ass.
Yeah.
That's the best word. Dealing with a lot of health stuff.
Yeah, tell us about that because this is crazy. I feel like this could be a PSA too. By the way, we're gonna add so much value here.
Well, I was exposed to black mold for 2 years, and I've been sick for 4 with this black mold, and it took me out, and it put on weight. It made my brain stop working, my creativity, my energy was so depleted that putting a dish away was too much. And then my hormones went completely out of whack, so I went from a nice person to not a nice person, and just everything. But the worst is that, you know, going to the doctors I went to, they're like, oh yeah, you're in perimenopause, yeah, good luck. Didn't want to help me, didn't give me any insight. I kept intuitively knowing that was the black mold, but nobody would listen to me. And then when I was guided to move here to Denver, I found the most spectacular doctors here, and I am almost done with it, and I'm super excited. I'm so close, and it's neat because as my energy comes back, my gifts never left me. But now I can have the creativity behind my gifts versus just the, okay, I gotta show up for the client. Okay, now I'm back to, you know, this. And it's tough because our physical bodies really do need a lot more attention than what we give it. And that was one thing that was a lesson with that one, was that I had a lot of spiritual people go, well, your frequency's so high, why can't you just get rid of it? What's wrong with you? You know, all this really ghosting, bypassing attitude that you get in the spiritual community that I was quite irritated by, and it actually took me down a little bit of maybe there is something, maybe what's wrong with me? And then I got the guidance from my guides. They said, this has nothing to do about your emotional state. It has nothing to do that you're doing something wrong. This is simply, it's a physical thing in the physical body, and it's opportunistic organism that you were so highly exposed to for 2 years. It started growing in your body because they found 9 different molds in my body, as well as 2 antibiotic-resistant bacteria in my brain. And that's where the brain shut down, everything happened, and I'm still have what they call leaky brain, but it's getting better and better as this is continuing to disappear. But yeah, the biggest lesson is like, we're in a physical body, and I don't care how spiritual you think, you have to take care of this spiritual body, or this physical body, and there's physical things that we have to pay attention to. And I thought that was such a horrible way to have to learn it, but a great lesson.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, so this, speaking of the last year has been so intense. I think we can all relate that it was super intense. And I feel like there was, last year was the year of the dragon. So I feel like I was listening to a video not too long ago, and she was like, it almost like, we lit everything on fire and burned things down around us. And now I'm like, yeah, did she know what my life was? Like, so what it felt like, right? So now that we're kind of picking up, and I feel like there's this, at least for me, I did not realize my attachment to things. And even though I said, no, it wasn't until it was shown to me that I was like, okay, I may lose this, that I realized how bad my attachment to it was, right? And so even just recently, I've been like, oh my goodness, okay, what if I did let that go? And like, that identity that we've created around the things, around the people, around everything that we've had, and it's like this identity that we have, and especially like identity to ego, right? Like our ego and the status and the things and the like all of it. Like I guess that's been the biggest thing that's come up for me recently is like calling that into question and just letting it surrender. So I feel like last year was like almost an opportunity for us to let go of the things that were not serving us from the ego standpoint. So what can you say? I mean, that's not a loaded question or anything, but like what can you add to that is like this identity that we're, moving into this new realm, but it's a new paradigm, a new shift with our identities now.
Well, what's happening is, like you said, what doesn't serve us anymore is starting to surface, and it's slapping us in the face, like you guys were saying. And the more we ignore it, the harder the slap becomes. And it's one of those that a lot of us are being forced to wake up right now. A lot of us are being forced to step into the purpose of why we're on this earth at this time. And people like me, I've had a lifetime of this awakening on some level, but a lot of people are just like, here it is, and they're just going, who am I, what am I, and losing all identity of who they are.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Seriously, I know, like it's been, and you and I've had these conversations, like, and there's like this expectation, right? Because we have clients, both of us take different avenues to help clients, but we're doing clearings, we're working with clients, we're helping them elevate their businesses or whatnot. And there is a part of it, it's like, at least for me, it's like, but I shouldn't have to go through this, right? Like I should be further along. But it's impacting every single one of us on every single cylinder and every single level, myself included, yourself included. And it's having this incredible impact of this awakening process within the awakening process, I feel like.
And it's not years, it's literally days, weeks, months, if you're lucky. And it's amazing because I'm getting a lot more phone calls from people of all ages going, wow, I was always really religious and now religion makes no sense, and all these other sides to things that I'm just like, wow, this is tough because it is altering who you are, so your foundation feels unstable. Right. And then if they don't have teachers to kind of guide them through what they're going through, I'm seeing a lot of really bad stuff happening to these people and not in a positive way. And I mean, I'm currently working with a lady in the UK that's in a mental hospital. And when I met her, because I always vet everybody before I ever take on a client, and what I saw was this beautiful, powerful healer that had a spontaneous awakening, that started getting the clear guidance and then got hijacked by other beings. Oh, no. And so we've been working through that. But the hard part is that part's the easy part. Now we're dealing with Western medicine, feeding her different pills. I mean, she's been switched up, I think, 5 times in a matter of a few weeks. Wow. And I'm just like, So I know she's just one of many, many people that are going through God knows what, of this awakening. So I always am like, you gotta find community, because through the community we can tell each other, hey, I experienced that. Oh, this is what you're, and just be there for each other, because it's tough.
Yeah, because it feels like everything right now is upside down.
Mm-hmm. It's not what we know.
Everything's up and down, sideways, and it somehow got like jammed on the side. Kind of not even jammed on the side. It's kind of like, like in there, crooked, crammed on the side, and you're like, I just want it to make sense. It's so funny because like I watch movies or go through experiences, and now I'm like, I almost feel like there's this new awake, like a lens on my eyes became more awake to like, and now I see things that I like never would have probably seen. You know, my family hated me before because like I would always go in and like it's like, oh my gosh, it's brilliant, da 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 da, and like different places. But now it's like, oh my gosh, and then I just have to kind of taper it with that because like when I start to unpack this, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this. But look, what if that means that? Like what is? And then my husband and my daughter are like, mom, just keep it to yourself. So I've been journaling a lot lately. Journaling a lot, like so much good stuff in there. Just, oh my goodness. So this energy it's been super disruptive. It's been super disruptive. And now we're moving into, I feel like a little bit of a quieter phase maybe.
That's what I experienced. I don't know about you guys, but one thing I've noticed is that even amongst all the crazy of our lifestyles, I'm noticing that things are slowing down. Mm-hmm. And I'm not referring to work or anything else. It's like there's an inner peace inside me that's just able to kind of slow down time a bit, to see it through versus this constant.
I do feel that way too.
Yeah, and it feels good. I mean, it's still crazy, but it's just like I can breathe.
Yeah. Yeah, I changed my word so last year I had the word unwavering, and I turned it into unstoppable because I was like, I went through this phase and it was unwavering and going into unstoppable. But then halfway through, I was like, record scratch. And I was like, I felt like I had to keep being unstoppable, right? I kept having to power up and like warrior through last year. I'm like, stop the record. Like, so then I adapted the word peace. And I feel like peace is like, so this year, my word of the year is peace, joy, and love. Because I want to have, I want to have more of that. So,
it's a 3-word year.
It is I deserve a 3-word year.
Exactly.
Okay?
There you go.
I'm just saying, I'm laying it down. I make the rules as I go. But I'm just saying, if you need more than 1-word year, own it. Like, just own it. But I do feel like, because I'm being very intentional with bringing about peace and being intentional and leaving early and playing more and just being like letting my joy factor take over in the moment, like in the present. So I feel like the year of the snake is like schlepping, right? We're still schmutzing, okay? Schmutzing our stuff up. But I feel like it's like, for me, I'm like, if you watch a snake, it feels very, I don't know, like it feels very calming. It's very mesmerizing as long as it's not going to kill you. It's a gentle, nice snake, right?
It's got the warrior inside too.
Yes, like, right? But I do think that comes to something that's really important, and we were talking about this earlier today, was like about the chaos we're still going to have chaos.
Absolutely.
We're going to have chaos for a couple more years is what I've been told. Not that I want to speak that into life, but I'm just saying. But how do we stay out of the chaos? Because I think it's super easy to get into the chaos. And chaos, not only when I talked about schmutzing, we're all schmutzing in some way, And so just how do we be mindful of our schmutz and then not take your schmutz on? Because I can tell you I've had the craziest conversations, I'm sure I'm not alone on this, with people, and I'm like, is this me? Like, why is 1 + 1 = 482? Like, how is this making sense? Like, I can't even make sense of it. I'm like, I is educated, but how do you make sense of this, right? So how do we stay out of the chaos? Because chaos is going to be chaos, and chaos is not going to be going away anytime soon.
No, and this is a great question, and that's actually, I was looking at your guys' questions, and pretty much across the board, that's what you guys are kind of asking. And so the big thing is that the chaos is simply to awaken humanity. And I was guided 2 years before COVID happened that it was coming down the pipeline. I thought it was that winter, because sometimes our channelings, I don't know exact timelines, but it made it sound like it was that winter. My friends were like, okay, crazy lady. And then 2 years later, like, holy, you did predict that, And then they've been telling me, like, oh, you think COVID's bad? Hell, here comes the real wave. Because what happened is that some humanity has woken up but we haven't really woken up. And like she was saying, we were shedding a lot this last year, and now we're coming into another evolution of ourselves. But the purpose of this is for us to stand in the power of who we are, not to be afraid, not to be angry, not have these energy leaks that are happening. That is what we as humans tend to do. We get sucked into the drama of everything.
I hate leaking.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I like leaking.
Do you have to wear Depends?
Don't jump on a trampoline. I don't have to wear them.
Damn menopause, I swear.
But you're right. This is happening.
Yes.
Right? So how do we protect ourselves?
Well, the big thing that they've been saying is this is not for us to go into fear. This is us to be aware of,
Sure. Okay, set us up for chaos, and then be fearless. Don't go into fear. Which is great.
Well, the big thing, it's funny because I'll have people ask me the same question you're asking, and they're like, well, people get mad at me, like, you just stick your head in the sand and you're not going to pay attention to what's going on. And it's something I had to learn a long time ago, was that you're aware of what's going on, but you can't allow it to emotionally impact you, because that's where your leaks are. That's where the anger, the fear, the worry, whatever you create, you're adding to the chaos, and that's the point of the chaos. Mm-hmm. And so what it is there is a battle going on for the earth. I'm not trying to be down those conspiracy theories or anything like that, or the spiritual whatever chaos, but there's literally light and dark. And right now, the dark is showing up to the surface as strong as it can, because we are really rising to the top in the light. And so they're pulling out all the last that they can to keep us under control, literally. And I call it enslavement. That's a chapter in my book of humanity enslavement. And the thing is if we fall into it, they win. If we add into it, they win. If we can just stand in the power of who we are and go inwards and truly learn to love you and stand in the alignment of your truth and speak your truth and not this truth, then our energy is much more powerful and potent than anything they can throw at us. And the neat thing about it is the more we stand in that energy together as a collective, that energy can't survive anymore. It can't even leach in, and it will disappear. So
I give the metaphor because I think that a lot of times when we're going through life, it's like, when we get mail, and let's say I'm getting a piece of mail and it's to you, okay? And I get this piece of mail, I'm like, oh, this is they just delivered it to the wrong address. This is clearly Corinthia's. So then what do I do? What do most people do? They put RTS on it, right? Return to sender. We don't open it, right? We don't open, unless you're like me. Sometimes I get stupid, and I'm like, I just rip open all the mail, and then I'm like, oh, sure. But for the most part, people that are conscious, you look at it, you're like, oh, that's not my mail. Return to sender, you throw it back in the mail, and it's gone, and you're like, you don't care about it. What happens for a lot of people with other people's stuff is we open that mail, and it's like, oh, Corinthia's, oh, gosh, I want to see what this is. And then you're like, oh, and then you take on other people's stuff. So like this lady that I just had the craziest experience 6 months ago, and I'm just like, huh? And I'm like, so I checked in with myself. I'm like, does this belong to me? Right? And it was a big fat no. And so you can just, what I do, I will just close my eyes and I'll put usually my hand to heart, and I'll say, truth, does this belong to me? And you can either sense it, you can muscle test it, you could pendulum it, and if you get a no, all you have to do, and I don't know why, but I like to take out the trash, and I'm like, return to sender with consciousness, and it's not mine, and I don't take it on, I don't give it a story, I don't give it meaning, because as soon as we take meaning and give it meaning, and we start reading about it, we're like, oh my gosh, what did she say, and then she said this, and then I said this, and this shit, oh my gosh, am I a horrible person, no, stop the insanity, it's other people's mail, don't read other people's mail. Return to sender. Just don't even take it on, right?
Well, the big thing that I found interesting, are you okay with a story?
Yeah.
All right.
No, stories are just terrible. God.
I'm a human being too. What?
Wait, what?
So something that just literally happened was that I really got sucked into the TikTok and social media, and I started with it because I needed it for my business, and I'm like, caught myself even more, and I'm spending an hour. And the thing is that I've always known the chaos, the corruption, the dirty things that are happening in the world that some people know and some people don't yet. And it's been going on for quite a while, and I knew to stay out of, don't emotionally attach to it kind of deal. Well, I started getting emotionally attached because it's now people are finally seeing the truth that people have been talking about for years going on. And I started going down that rabbit hole of worry and fear and different things. And it got to a point I was crying one night because I'm going to Costa Rica here end of the week. And I was like, I don't want to go because I can't leave my dog. What if I can't get back and be with my dog? And I was like, wow, that is so not me. Of course I love my dog, but I'm not afraid of things. And we're backpacking. We're not going to be staying at resorts or anything like that. And I noticed in the last 3 weeks, my spine started going out of alignment. It started a little bit, then it started going drastically. And then it started locking up and being in pain. It would be in my neck, it'd be in my mid-back, be in my hips, it was moving. And I'm going to PT every week, and my PT's like, we couldn't seem to shift it. And I was like, this is good. We both are like, this is emotional. And I'm like, crap. So the interesting part, and this just happened the last couple days, I had my boyfriend work on me, and he's like, what's interesting is working on you, I kept seeing shadows, and my eyes were closed, and there's nothing in that room with us. I was like, it's an attachment. And then my PT, she tapped in, she's like, I see a black thing wrapped around your spine, and it's got tentacles trying to attach to your heart.
This is where it goes 2.0 here. 5.0. We're going to go 5.0.
We're going to go all the way to 10.
Well, real fast, okay?
So anyways, I asked her, I said, is this an attachment from social media? Because I'm going down that. And she got a very big yes. And I was like, okay, I know better. I've been learned this years ago. What the hell's wrong with me? Why did I do this? So I came home and I stood in the shower and I said, I claim my power back. I have no fear. What's the fearful? The fear always comes down to death. Well, I'm not afraid of death. And then the other fear was like, but I don't want them to make me sick again. I was like, I've already been sick many times in my life.
You can possibly be
yeah,
sick.
and I was like, I'll be fine. And then they gave me the information. They said, if you're in your power, no matter what they throw at us, your body's energy is so strong, you're not going to get sick from what they're doing. And that doesn't mean you can't not take care of the physical body, but referring to that energy cannot affect us if we're standing in the power of who we are. So I just was like, I claim me back. I claim my power back. And then I had a girlfriend, and I was like, okay, remove that little bugger off me. Because all of us as community, even though I have the power to do that, it's nice to have community to help see what you can't see. And so she removed that. My spine was so bad yesterday when I went to PT, I couldn't move. I couldn't do this, I couldn't twist, I couldn't do anything. My spine was so crooked. She could physically see the crookedness in it. Now my spine is fully fine. It's back to normal. And I was just like, holy shit, I cannot believe, through our fear, through the chaos, if we fall into that trap, there's energies and entities that are eagerly awaiting to take us over. And this isn't something we can pretend it doesn't exist, because it does exist. And it's something that, really honed into me, just like I said, within the last 24 hours of like, stay in your power. That's what I teach. Why did I go down my own rabbit hole? I know better.
To the point is that we can all get wrapped up into it, and none of us are immune to it. But it's also a great reminder that even the best of the best, even the, all of us that are having our spiritual journey can go down that rabbit hole, right?
And that's where we need to keep each other in community and in check. I have friends contact me from all over the country going, do you know what's going on? And I just responded with a hi, how are you? And it's not me ignoring it. It's, I can't do this. It's not going to serve me. It's not going to serve you guys. We have to stay in the power of who we are. And no matter what chaos comes our way, we're fine. That's the best part. We take care of each other. We're in this love. We're in alignment. We have a voice that's actually heard. Not a voice that we're out there just screaming our heads off. It's a voice that's a frequency. When you're in alignment with yourself, you have a voice. And that's the power.
I love it. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come back, and we're going to listen in on some channeling. This is so much fun. I love it. Therapist, spiritual guide, business coach, My unique methods blend mindset, energy, and business mastery for deep, lasting change. Ready to become unstoppable? Learn more at talkingwithterry.com. We are back with Corynthia Soul Ascender, and we were just wrapping up with, I thought, a juicy conversation. And I want to ask a question before we move into the channeling, and that is just a conversation around just surrendering, because we talked about the chaos and not getting involved in it, but also I think it's really important, like this power of like surrendering. I've created a really good practice of surrendering, and then there's moments where I'm like, and then I'm okay, and then I keep going back. What can we do to better get in a practice of surrendering?
So a big one with surrendering is more kind of going back to that topic we were talking about, the peace. So being in peace, and I call it my peace joy, is being able to just be quiet, not in meditation, but just be quiet and observe like a child of observation of like, oh my gosh, look at the gold on this. Wow, feel the texture of it. Fantastic. It's so wonderful. You like it? I'm sponsoring. But being very much in the present moment of whatever you're in. Like, oh, feel the flowers, smell it, different things. That brings about a peace within, and it also brings a joy, because our senses find joy in utilizing them, versus we have numbed our senses out to just maintain every day. So to surrender is literally, in my eyes, is just being present. And when you have this going on in the brain, just to be in this moment of like, oh, wow, okay, and just be in that moment, it quiets this instantaneously, because it can't do both. And the other part is that we're trying to practice getting out of the mind. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm not saying kill the ego. That's a completely wrong, bad spiritual thing that people talk about. It's about learning to navigate from here. And the heart center is our power center. And that's where we can get truth. This is truth to me. If I'm sitting here bringing all my senses to whatever I'm doing, that's a bringing a joy, a truth, and it's a surrender. Because this has to be quiet.
Right, because we can only focus on and have one thought at a time.
Exactly.
And also just focusing on the five senses, right? Like,
And
just
having
tapping
fun
into
with
them.
it.
And just being mindful in that presence. And it brings us back to the present moment, right? Like,
It does.
It takes away the brain from going from past or future.
And just whatever it's spinning. But for me, it's like you have to find joy in it too. It's not just me observing, it's find the joy in it. So for me, it's like if I find myself spinning and I'm home after working with clients or something, I'll go and sit in the sun, and I have 11 chickens, and I love to just watch them. And there's no thought, there's no meditation, there's nothing, but I will feel like after 5 minutes of doing that I just had this deep, intense meditation. I'm so peaceful, I'm joyful, I'm smiling. And that's a surrender to me, because we're basically surrendering is just get out of the mind. That's, I think, the whole point of when we were like, just surrender, it's like, because our brain is going, but, we need to, and it's like, no, just be here.
And I think that's a great point, because I think sometimes we get wrapped up into what meditation is going to be like and how do we quiet our mind. And there's 1.5 million ways that we can, quote, meditate, but it's finding what works for you. And we were talking about this last week about, like, I love adult coloring, I love doing art, I love crafting, and all of those things for me is like, a meditative, And then, of course, like, I'm half mermaid, so we're always in the water. Like, I just love it.
Water's for me, as well as riding my motorcycle is my meditation. Yeah. And I went to meditation classes for a couple years, and I never got anything out of it. In fact, I was just like, really, we have another 10 minutes? It was just so, but I could be on the motorcycle, and you're exactly like what I just described. You're in this peace, joy, and I'm so present, because you have to be on a motorcycle. And I could get the downloads. I could just have this experience of expansion, and that's where meditation to me is much more powerful than, okay, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to listen to this music, and I'm trying to quiet my mind. It doesn't work for me personally.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of people, and I think somebody's question here was on that, of like, I find meditation, especially the traditional way, actually really upsets a lot of people, and it makes them even worse than what they were before they tried.
You got the whole stories behind it. It's like, well, I can't quiet my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm trying to quiet your mind. I'm like, mind, go quiet. And blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
right?
it's just a battle
It's just a battle, yeah.
But when you're in that joy, there's no battle. You're just so present.
I've been a doodler. Like I'm a professional doodler, and somebody gave me this little tiny notebook the other day, and I find myself when I'm listening to people talk, I want to be doodling. It anchors it in for my learning. I started realizing how it's very meditative, and so now I have a doodle journal, doodling journal. I mean, I'm so excited. And my husband, everyone's like, "Why is your purse out?" I'm like, "I think it's my doodle journal." But it's like those things that, like, how do you bring? And it brings me so much joy.
But it's so important because as we are learning to step into the power of who we are, it can be really challenging. It can be really harsh on our systems. And if we don't have an outlet of fun, then we lose aspect of why humanity and why we're in a human existence and what's the purpose. And once you can have that balance of, okay, I'm working on myself, but I'm also having the joy of why I'm here in the human expression, then it makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like we should do a ceremony like joy activator, activate.
I like the Care Bears like,
joy activated. But your joy radar, let that be the guiding factor. Does this bring me joy?
and what
Am I
I
safe? Does this bring me joy? Am I in alignment? Yes, yes, yes. Yay.
and
How much better can we get?
the big
Yes.
thing is, like, some of us don't want to get out of bed. And I was like, what would make you so excited to wake up in the morning and hop out of bed?
Yeah.
That's your true joy. Not like, oh, it's fun to do this. And then it's like, is it? Well, that's just all I know. I hear that a lot from clients. And I'm like, no. What makes you get out of bed like, yeah, I'm here. I'm alive, and I'm doing da-da-da. I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, what a hoot. Okay, so we're going to transition here. So if you have a question, I want you to be present here with her. But if you have more of a global question, it can't be like, am I going to win the lottery tonight? Can't be like that, but more global versus personal, if that makes sense.
Yeah, don't take me into left field, because the energy that I bring through is directed of whatever the question is in the channeling. And when I get people giving me bubble gum, well, my medical and blah, 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 I'm like, that's not the beings that are in me at that time. And so it's a bit harsh on my system to bubble gum that. And when I'm doing my one-on-ones, that's where that's for.
So we'll think about kind of more of a global standpoint. At the end, we'll open up to questions, as long as it's a global question, and she'll go from there. Okay?
Sounds good.
Okay, sounds good.
So,
okay.
All right, so I'm going to explain the channeling to everybody. I do light language. If you have not heard of light language, it's a galactic language, at least the ones that I speak, that comes through me. The beings literally come into my body and speak through my mouth. My eyes are closed oftentimes. They can be open. It doesn't matter. I'm still 100% present. I am not like other channelers that they're tapped out. They're somewhere else and the beings taking over the body. That's not how it works for me. It's a collaboration. And I channel all kinds of beings. They can be deities, they can be they're all high vibrational beings, but that's when I'm doing my one-on-ones, it'll be your guides. But when I'm doing this group channeling, according to my audience, those beings will come in that will resonate with you. The light language is simply to bypass the brain and to allow the cells to evolve. Because our brain loves to chew up every word and go, that doesn't make sense, or that doesn't, blah, blah, blah. And so what they're doing is they're up-leveling your frequency. Oftentimes after I do a channeling like this, you guys may experience something, maybe not today, but you may feel it within the week. And you may feel some purging, things like that. So I just want to give you a heads up. It's normal. It's just you are up-leveled. That's what they do. That's their frequency. But please don't be afraid of it.
We're just going to start with the message of just like, what is the message or insights just to help keep us out of the chaos? Okay. And then you can
Sounds good.
do your magic.
So this is considered a group channeling, just so you guys know. And yeah, I'll just let them bring it through and do their thing. A lot of times I'm standing up, but I can't do it sitting. So
Do you want to stand up?
no, it's okay. I can
Because your head's
sit.
going to get chopped off.
I know. Oh,
I'm just
how do you get rid of the mold? Cut the head off.
just saying that this is not.
Sorry, gross humor.
Just identify as standing up, okay?
Just identify. Okay.
Okay.
I'm glad we can laugh on this show. It's fun. I hate when we have to take everything so damn serious.
Okay.
All right. Konda tadene, tia shana hoa, napi kia napi, sono pashishi ata, no one abayela nasi, kumanahi, sono sonasania. First thing we want you to start off with is just placing your hand on your heart. Allow yourself to experience your heart right now, where it's at. There is no right or wrong. Just experience your heart. Kona padaya tanashikiniama. Nusa bantati, noa kianda shishina. Nasalawan pahinti mea pokui. Recognize your true self. Recognize your true feelings. Do not hide away feelings of fear or worry or concern, as this is very valuable to your inside of yourself. It is important for you to recognize it, see it, and love it. Do not push it away. Do not get angry with it. Just recognize you are a human in a human experience, and all emotions are meant to be part of this expression. They are not wrong, right, or bad. They're simply there. It is no different than being in the joy and the love. It's just a different side. As the chaos heats up upon this earthly world of the third dimension, it is simply here to awaken the masses. It is simply here to help you evolve into the power and superhuman you actually are. You, as a human being, have way more ability than you could ever imagine. And as each one of you learns to step into your heart, and we're talking the real heart, the heart that combines your physical, your emotional, your mind, your heart, and your soul into one being. Not a separation that most human beings run around this earthly as, but as a complete being as one. Your heart is the tether to it all and brings you into this full completion. Allow your mind to quiet the best you can as it is eagerly awaiting the next distraction, the next drama, the next interaction that it can be part of. Allow the mind to just quietly quiet down, honoring it and loving it, and bringing down into your heart your expression, the expression of the fear, the expression of the worry, or anything else that is hindering you in this moment. Allow this information to come into your heart and ask your heart, is this my truth? Is this my alignment of who I am? Your heart cannot lie to you. Your mind will attempt to become the heart, but just ignore it and allow the heart to actually witness, feel. You will feel the truth. Yes, all these expressions have energy that the heart will play with. But when it comes down to it, can you look beyond? Can you look beyond these expressions that you're experiencing? Can you see that the world is your actual illusion of creation? If you want to be in the chaos of 2025 and on, you can choose that. It's not right or wrong. It's not bad. It's just a choice. But for those of you that are being forced to awaken to step out of that chaos, you are the change makers of this earth. You are the people and the humans that are here to evolve this evolving earth into the new world, into a hard existence human. That is what this new evolution is all about, is living in a hard existence in a new evolutionary way with Earth, and to navigate yourself in a healthier way than we have ever been taught as a human being. Konda banana sanati, lewa kuneshini bakai, no wanda hasidina, timana sawaha, so koyasaniana, jishini tapai, nata me tilawantoha. Whatever your eyes see around you is your choice to see it differently or however way that you want. Until you have the skills to evolve yourself and heal yourself of past traumas and belief systems that are locked in your system and unconscious, things will be more intense for you. As you gain the tools to witness yourself, love yourself, and release these old ideas and belief systems, like you guys were talking about with the snake skin, your life will become so much easier. It'll flow with much more ease, and you'll be able to see the truth behind the chaos. You'll be able to see the little boy, the little girl throwing temper tantrums in the background and not the big, dark, scary, evil being in front of you, or the chaos of whatever that the world is trying to throw at humanity. You'll see that it's just purely an illusion. There is no truth to this unless you want it to be your truth. This is hard, we understand, for you humans to understand and conceptualize, but more and more that you step into the power of you and decide, no, this isn't my truth. This is what I create for myself. Then more and more it will become easy for each one of you to witness it and move through with ease. Kumpanarema shishinata lewena, sikembaye tomati shishanatasa, tolama kayi tinishi, sompa kanto manasala, so shishini tadanapu, so kuyantanasiana. It's so important that you honor yourself on all aspects of yourself. Do not condemn any aspect of you that shows up. Honor it and love it, regardless of if you feel it's negative or positive. Be in gratitude for it all. You may swing a bit, but that's okay. You will join into a neutral position. This isn't in an aspect to make you numb. It's just in an aspect so you can flow and follow through with each one of your purposes, the healers and the change makers of this world. All of you that are being awakened, it is time for you to step out of the human aspect of this illusion and step into the truth of your purpose and why your soul is here, and to continue to co-create with others the new evolution of this world. It is an honor for each of you to be here, regardless of how hard it may feel or seem. All of you are warriors deep inside. All of you know how to function in this chaos. So choose to step out, choose to step in, and become what you actually are. Find this earth in your haven of what this earth is. Allow the earth to hold you and ground you in a way that you feel comfortable being here, and that the earth that you're standing upon is actually of love and light and not of coal and fire. And yes, there's aspects of that, but we don't want you feeling like you're burning yourself up being here, but you're being in the comfort and ease of the real earth, because real earth's energy is here and holding us with love. Each one of you, take honor in who you are, gratitude, all gratitude, and allow your heart to be the center of your existence. Through that, you will be the powerhouse and superhuman that you never knew you could be, and all else will fall away. We also wanted to let you know that we're here with you. Each one of you has assistance. Each one of you has your own galactic beings and guides that are here escorting you at the same time that you're coexisting with them in the other realms, moving through and doing the purpose that you are. Allow yourself to witness yourself as this amazing being. Anytime that you think you're less than, allow your angels, your guides, your galactic tribe to be there with you to raise you back up. Ask for the assistance. Continue with your communities of human and humanity to continue to raise you up as well. As individuals, you're easier to be removed, but as a tribe and community that you are creating now, nothing can harm you. You have the ability to step into the light in a way that you never have been taught and never have witnessed, but it is your time now. This new coming year, honor it. It is simply to create the new. And this transmission is complete. Are you guys able to feel them come through?
So let's take some questions. The microphone, you pass it around if you have a question. Anyone? Bueller?
So this new world that we're going into, and even with the meditations, so if there is a tendency to feel like disassociated or numb to what is going on, where there's almost like it's like the mind's not going, but there's a disassociation. How do people navigate through that?
I think I need a little bit clarity of that question of disassociation. Are you referring to disassociation of what's going on or disassociation within themselves?
Within self.
So ask the question one more time just in a little bit.
Yeah, so so I'm really not sure myself. I'm trying to keep it more.
It's okay, just ask
bigger.
it personal and it'll work.
Over like the last couple years, I've always thought I was in touch, but I just go into this disassociation, this numbness, whether it's through, even during this transmission, I can go off and be gone, and then I've got to pull myself back. I'm trying to understand, what does that mean? Why is that shutting down? And truly the beings were saying, feel into your heart, stay present, like love yourself. But it's like this numbness that happens where it's like a blank slate that happens.
I know what you're talking about, and I know it well. In fact, I could be on top of the mountain on a dirt bike and go, yeah, whatever, I've been here, seen that, and there's this numbness. And I'm just like, what is going on? So I've been through what you're talking about. What it is there's an aspect of us, and many of us have not been on this earthly plane much. We're maybe our first life, maybe only a couple lives kind of deal. So this isn't what we signed up for. We thought it was going to happen in a different way when we agreed to our souls to come and be the boots on the ground.
That's what's happened. That makes sense. This is not what I signed up for.
No, and so there's an aspect of us, our soul goes, no, peace out. And there's an aspect that it's like, this doesn't make sense. It's a waste of, what is this? But it's more of a irritation and frustration than a anger or a sadness or anything like that. It's more of just like, really? kind of attitude towards it.
And I think too, I've had so many clients in the last probably 4 or 5 months being to the place where they say it's just really, and I've had this multiple times, people say, it's just really hard to be in this physical body. It's just really hard to be in my body. There is a little bit of a dissociation of staying in this body, and so a lot of people are revolting to numbness or distraction, scrolling, games, videos, whatever, Netflix, binge watching, because it is a form, I think, of that dissociation that you're talking about. It's just like, I don't want to be here. Like, how do I zone out? How do I?
But it's also the soul going, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. We really had this thought pattern when we were making the plan before we came into this physical body that it was going to work differently. And what I got actually from a channeling, I think it was Friday or Thursday, I can't remember, their words were literally, we didn't sign up for this in this way. We thought it was going to be different. Things were supposed to evolve faster than they did. Humans were supposed to wake up differently.
Slackers.
Yeah. So there's a part of us that those that are here to be that difference, that we're just like, really, when? I'm over this. Can we just have our existence of whatever blissfulness that we were programmed that we would experience? So it's really easy for us to want to pull out of our body and disassociate. I mean, who can be on top of one of the most beautiful mountains outside a steamboat on a dirt bike with the snow cap and everything and go, yeah, whatever. What? You know? And that was my eye-opening of like, wow, I'm really disassociating, pulling myself out because I haven't found my joy, true joy of being a human yet. I've changed that over the years, but that's where that part that we were talking about earlier comes back in of you've got to find that joy of, hell yeah, I'm a human being, I'm alive, I'm on this earth, and really find the true joy that just drives you of excitement. And not, you know, sometimes it can be our business, it can be different things, but we need to find something even deeper than that. And when you find that, you won't do that anymore, I promise. Yeah, absolutely, I'm here for that.
As you were talking, recognizing there's times that we fight ourselves on a physical plane, and then we fight ourselves on a spiritual plane. Not knowing the difference at time can actually freeze us in that moment. How do we shift out of that place of the physical controlling the spiritual in order to allow the spiritual to grow to another dimension and level?
If I get this right, and I'm going to have to stop looking at you because that light is so bright.
Oh, that's just me. I'll tone it down.
So shiny. For those of you on the video, he's literally in the little ring light. If I'm getting what you're asking is that you find yourself on the 3D level, and then you find yourself on a higher level in a spiritual experience, and then it kind of puts you in a freeze mode. Or it can put you in a fight and flight mode. I've seen all the above with that. Is that what you were asking? Okay. So with that, it is important for us to navigate that we stay grounded and we have the ability to fully tap into all that we are. And it was interesting because last month, my group healing channeling was on a topic like that. And it was teaching us that we can be the lion and making that impact on the earth, being very, very grounded. And then at the same time, we're the eagle. And we're soaring at the same way. And that way we can be all of it at once, and it doesn't put us in a, but I want to be here because it's more fun, and I got to be back in the human, but there's this part, and it's doing that. The other thing is it takes practice because more and more we're being forced with a frequency that's changing on the earth right now for us to be more in that higher evolution of self, or spiritual self, or higher self, whatever you want to call it. And that part is new to us, and it can make us kind of like, whoa, I feel high even though I didn't do anything. And it gets you in a very haze kind of weird state. So it takes time for the physical body to evolve as fast as the soul is evolving within you. So the patience is with that. And I witnessed that back when I broke my leg. I had a boyfriend that was convinced I had dementia. And that was, he would call me mush brain. And, you know, I was bummed by that. And I was like, what the heck? Because I wasn't being able to comprehend a lot. And when I tapped into my guides, they're like, don't you ever call yourself that again. You're highly, highly intelligent. You're losing aspects of what human is so that you can be what I am. And it takes time for the physical body and brain to understand and integrate and become one. So I was jumping dimensions so fast, so much every day, that in the human existence, it looked like I was a mush brain. But I wasn't. So this is where I'm noticing all of you guys that are waking up, you're going to have these experiences, and please be patient with yourself, because it does integrate itself and you become all of it at once. And you won't have that experience anymore.
Can we know when that date is? I'd like to make a note.
Does that help with the question you're asking?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes.
And then I just want to really quickly, everyone who's watching at home, feel free to drop in your questions as well into this conversation as well. What was that? What was that experience like for you as well? And is there another question here? Potentially. Okay.
It seems as though in today's world, we're having a harder time holding on to relationships. Marriages are falling apart. People stay together for a brief time, or they just kind of fall off. There's many different theories around this, but do you have any insight as to what may be happening maybe on a spiritual level for people?
So a lot what's happening is we're waking up, like I was been saying, and if your partner's not waking up with you, we are evolving out of that energy. And sometimes they'll grow with you, your family, your kids. I witness all this with my clients. I always say, focus on you, heal you, and watch what your family members, your loved ones will do. Most times, they grow with you. Other times, unfortunately, it's time to move on, because we all, as a human, have human choice. You cannot change your loved ones, you cannot change your kids, you cannot change any of these people. They have to choose to want to evolve with you. And it doesn't mean you going out there and going, hey, don't you understand? Wake up. That doesn't work. It is an energy they have to feel, and they feel this uniqueness and the safety of you, and witnessing you feel this uniqueness and safety within yourself, that this energy is so potent, we don't do anything. You just allow, and these people will get to experience this, and they can make a choice from there of consciously and unconsciously to evolve with you. Relationships, we could go down that hole all day long, but a lot of people are very surface right now. And and the thing is like things like the dating apps. She's not pretty enough. Her hair's not long enough, or he's too short. You know, we're so superficial,
So judgmental.
Yeah, that we've lost sense of, you know what? You're beautiful. Can I get to know you? Versus looking on the outside and going, well, you know, this person has a pimple and that, you know, whatever. And so we've lost an aspect of being human to connect. And then we have this aspect of self-gratification so fast and this and that we don't allow the connection. And if there's one little thing, we're done.
That's why I love watching that. Love is Blind, and they meet in the pods and they date blindly. It's so fascinating.
Well, it forces that connection.
And the intimacy and it's so fascinating because of how it always, I've watched like every season.
But,
so good. But it's really fascinating because it takes away the looks, it takes away the judgments, it takes away your careers. So they can talk about their careers, but they can't talk about what they look like. I just find it really fascinating because they're connecting on a soul level.
Absolutely, and that's why a lot of relationships are not working, because we've also, long-term marriages, they've been in the fast lane of raising kids, or, in their own worlds or their careers, that they never got to know each other anymore as they kept evolving and changing. And we change moment to moment, day to day. And that's why a lot of relationships, long-term relationships, are dissolving, because they're finally like, I have to stop a moment and get to know you. Whoa, you're not the person I thought, and I'm not the person I thought. And the other thing is that as we self-heal, you do have to take out the toxic relationships. I don't care if they're your parents. I don't care if they're your brother, your husband. Some people will not change, especially when you're dealing with narcissistic personalities and you're dealing with very self-centered individuals that will not heal. And it's like you have to love yourself so much that you choose you and you step up. And you go, you know what? I'm now going to attract what matches me and not carry this ball and chain that doesn't anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's actually beautiful.
I ended a long-term friendship recently, and it was the wildest thing, and you'll be able to understand this. It's like when we had that conversation, I had like, in movies they have like the and it kind of shows you like the, past real quick, right? I had that moment where everything started coming through, flooded through within 30 seconds. It's like, but I saw our relationship from like, okay, right now we're in memory banking this, right, from this perspective. But when I had the download, it was like me standing like where you're at, and I was looking at it this way, and then I saw the true person and how we were not in alignment because she was doing a lot of things behind my back. And I was like, oh, and she never was. Like a true friend, she was talking about crap behind my back the whole relationship, right? And I was like, I didn't know it. But then all of a sudden, with as fast as that came, I saw it, I was like, whoop. And then all of a sudden, all these emotions, it was like anger, hurt, betrayal. And then all of a sudden, it was like, whew, peace and forgiveness. And it was just like, it was such a beautiful thing. And my daughter says, aren't you worried that you're going to run back into her? I said, we're on so much different vibrational planes. We'll never see each other again. And I think it's just like, again, it's that vibration. And if we did happen to run into it, I'm not going to be a jerk. It's beautiful. And so many things shifted in my life because I didn't realize I had a invisible dream stealer who was holding me back. And she was invisible. And it's like, no, I want to choose my friends. I have this magnet that my girlfriend gave me, and it's on my refrigerator, and it says, as adults, we get to choose our family, right? And I was like, yeah, I get to choose. I mean, I do collect people for that reason in a non-weird way. But it's like, I like you. You're gonna, and you and I may journey together for another 10 more weeks.
That's it?
Just kidding. Or 10 more years. And we may journey longer. We may be forever journeyers, right? But it's like, okay, we're going to journey, we're going to journey, we're going to journey. And at some point that journey may end, and it might be like, okay, see you later, I'm going to the hot tub, right? Like, whatever that might be. I used to be so, like, attached to people. And so when people would leave or when we moved up, like, I was again, attachment that I was like, there must be something wrong with me. And now it's like this beautiful, like, oh, and we might journey for a while and then journey back and oh, look at us, we journey back together again. It's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful when you get to that place of like, there's a peace with it.
And it's a big thing that happens. I get it all the time with clients when, especially the ones that are newer to the evolution, that they're like, well, my friends, I'm losing my friends. I'm doing all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, welcome to evolving. And the beauty of that is that you're going to draw in a whole new, beautiful group of friends that are going to keep uplifting you and bringing you up. And some of them might fall away, but it's amazing.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's
yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
it makes your life so much more
And you get
fun.
to be like, ooh, who do I get to play with today?
Yeah.
I met this chick the other day, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna be friends, right? Like, I just can't. It just becomes this really powerful place. So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Friends don't let friends shop for health insurance alone, especially online with a bottle of wine. Skip the spammy calls, endless emails, confusing options. We've got you covered, literally. I'm Deb Salmons with Imagine Choice Customized Health Solutions. No more guesswork. We shop for best plans for you with lower rates the healthier you are. We personalize your plans with confidential information, and it's hassle-free. Let us take the stress off your plate so you can focus on what matters most. Imagine Choice Health Insurance with a human touch.
We are back with Corynthia, and wasn't that amazing? All right, we were talking earlier about standing in our power, and when we stand in our power, nothing can impact us. And the conversation went into the place of judgment. And I think that this is important to know that if we can be an allowance of judgment, it doesn't take away our power. Would you agree with that? Like being an allowance of whether people are going to judge us no matter what.
Yeah.
Positive or negative judgments, but not letting their judgments. And I always say, if you're in allowance of judgment, they can't impact you, right? They can't take away your power because you're, in how you say it is like being in alignment. You're being in your power. This is who I am. I am the I am presence. I am divine love. I am, and there's no way that we can take away your power. So what would you say in addition to that piece of it?
With the judgment aspect.
Yeah.
So the big thing is like she said, yes, people are always going to judge. It's just human nature.
Yeah.
But the blessing of it, and I learned this from my own self, was that when I learned to stop judging myself, no longer was I receiving judgment from others or in a way that, like you said, impact me.
Yeah.
And that was literally learning to love myself, which was one of the hardest things to do. And I think that's really hard for humanity, to learn to truly love ourselves. And I hear this a lot from clients going, but I love myself. And then they start getting into this work and they're like, oh, I don't. Wow. So the honest for that, question is, you learn to stop judging you. It doesn't matter what goes on here because it's not going to be affecting you at all. And if you have come to peace with who you are, what could I say to hurt you?
Yeah.
Nothing. Oh, you're great, thanks. And you're not going to be like, but I mean, that's the truth. It's like where before if I said you're going to be like, oh my God, and then it's like, yeah. Great. And then it doesn't affect you because it's not your truth. It's not true.
Yeah.
So
I just started doing this little exercise, and I'm forgetting who told me about it, but you do it for 5 minutes, and you record yourself, and you say, I am this, I am not this. And you do this for 5 minutes, and it's what it brings about. It's really powerful. It's a powerful exercise to record yourself, and then you listen back to it. And I thought the same thing, because I was like, oh, I love myself. I feel good about myself, but you know what? Something that I would not do on a regular basis, okay? Now don't think I'm vain here, but I would not look at myself in the mirror. I would look at me, but not at me, if that makes sense.
absolutely.
And so I just started, like, every time I catch myself in the mirror, I'm like, and I pause, and sometimes I can be goofy or silly, but I'm like, no, I'm gonna see myself. And it hasn't taken many weeks for me to be like, wow, I love myself. And even though I've gotten some more human ness about myself, some more human, places, in my human body, I'm like, so instead of judging it, I could say something, but I'm not. Terry, focus. I am finding myself, I'm like, no. And so now, you know what? When I'm in the shower, okay, this is totally by my TMI.
Uh-oh, guys.
I know.
Cover your children's ears.
I have this, myrrh oil that I do this, little, ritual, little thing, kind of a cleansing, but I'll just put it on my body and I'll just say, I love you, right? Like it's just a cleansing, reconnecting myself. And it's just I love you. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a beautiful thing, I think. It doesn't take much to really, quote, see yourself. And as that's happening, it's transforming the way I'm showing up, transforming, even though I thought, and I've done a lot of work on myself, a lot of work. But it's every level, there's this new awakening as we evolve and grow and expand, and each level brings about a new opportunity for us to grow some more. So what are some of the kind of final thoughts or things that we can take with us today to tap back into our alignment and our power that everyone else, and including everyone watching, can take with them today?
Well, it's as simple as what you just were describing. I give a lot of my clients a simple exercise, and you'd be surprised how many come back, I can't do this. And it's literally, you look in the mirror and you just look directly into your eyes, and you're looking into your soul through your eyes, and you're saying your name and I love you. And then you switch to the other eye, say your full name, I love you. And you go back and forth. And what I do is I tell them to journal this. What did you feel? Do you feel nothingness? Do you feel anger? Do you feel sadness? What are you experiencing? And that's your direct connection of disconnect with your soul or connection with your soul. And as a human, we've been taught to disassociate, like we've coming back around about the body being separate. We separate our bodies down to, my pinky isn't working, so like we have such attitudes towards this beautiful body, and it's such intelligence that we don't give it credit for. This isn't our intelligence. This is our intelligence. And we have been taught something completely opposite. This is to interact and respond to this intelligence. It's not supposed to be the intelligence. And so the best thing you can do is just, like you said, look in the mirror. for me, when I first looked in the mirror and I had my first teacher do this to me, he's like, I want you to say 5 nice things about yourself in the mirror. I couldn't say one dang thing nice about myself. I ripped myself apart. And I was like, wow, that's awful. And the judgment, like going back to that was like, I noticed I'd be out listening to music outside at a venue and I'd just be like, oh my God, look at her shoes. Oh my God, her hair. And he's with her, and I would be judging. I wouldn't speak it out loud, but I was in my brain about it. And what I noticed is that when I started truly learning to love myself and being able to see myself in the mirror for the beauty I am, the judgment went away. I noticed one night after a concert thing and going, I didn't think about anything of anybody else. And I was like, wow, it kind of took me back. And
if you have family or friends that are willing to play with this, ask them to catch you when you're judging something, because it's so easy. I remember my daughter and I, in the very beginning, she would say, oh, look at her dress, and sometimes it's a positive judgment, but we started noticing and we start catching those judgments. You'll be amazed at how often we judge. And I usually will tell people there's a saying that we can do to kind of cancel it out, and it goes like this. So those here, writing it down, or if you want to text yourself, it goes, interesting point of view that I have this interesting point of view. So it's a point of view that you have, and if you say it 3 times, it helps cancel it out, and then it allows you to open up and say, okay, I usually say, what else is possible? And so we cancel out the judgment, we cancel out whether it's to us, other people, any other type of negative thought, it cancels it out, and then allows us to be back open. And when you start to do that, it's pretty phenomenal on what starts to notice. You know what? My daughter rarely judges people now. And she's in middle school, now she's not perfect. She still slips up, and I still slip up. But it is significantly less around just, again, putting love out there. And, we'll have these conversations. I'm like, can we say that a different way? Or I'll spin it for her. I'll be like, oh, well, okay, that's true. And I wonder, just recently, there was some disappointing news that she received, and she was just, she was so heartbroken. And it was hard to see her in that state. And then we spun it a little bit, and she was just like, you know what? And it sounds more tragic. She was like, Mom, she's like, the trip that she was hoping for and planning for the last 2 months, her suitcases are packed. She was supposed to be leaving on Thursday, and it got canceled unexpectedly. She goes, it happens for a reason. I just wasn't supposed to be on that plane. And then we've had all these plane crashes, and I'm like, maybe so, honey, who knows? Maybe you just weren't supposed to be on that plane, and maybe there's some bigger, greater thing. And so she was able to see it on her own, which is really cool.
That's great.
That she wasn't harboring it, because she just didn't harbor it anymore. But it was the story, right? We're talking about the story and how we attach that story. And she was able to let go of the judgment, let go of the story, and then actually find a little bit of peace around it. And so it's really beautiful to see that kind of transition just in the last 24 hours.
And honestly, as we learn to not judge ourselves, it is a love that's bigger than us. It's amazing to witness. And then if we spin it even further, it's then you start going into a state of what we call vulnerable, but I don't really feel like that's the true word. I feel like it's an absolute of truth of us. When we start showing that, then people really connect and are able to evolve themselves. And but that first piece, like you said, of that judgment or that self-love, it's honestly one of the hardest things, like I said, to watch my clients go through initially. But it does get easier. And like I said, we have separated ourselves over and over again, like I said, physically, spiritually, connected from our mind, our heart, they're not connected, things like that. And as we become more self-aware, more in our alignment, we become one unit. There is no separation. And that, like I said, hands down is the power and the superhuman aspect of us that starts just exploding energetically, as well as your own gifts will just open up because you're not in your own way.
That's beautiful. So really quickly, before we wrap up, is there any other questions for Corynthia or myself? So good, right? So good. Oh yes, we do.
I just want to say thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for being strong. Thank you for sharing your journey. And definitely, Terry, thank you for opening these conversations.
Yeah, thank you. So let's do this. Let's share where people can find you on your
Okay.
website.
Yep.
And then if there's any final tips or tricks that you want to wrap up with.
Okay, so you can find me at soulascender.com.
This has been fantastic. Thank you, thank you,
Yes,
thank you. I'm
thank
just so
you. This is
grateful.
so much fun.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful. Again, and to your testament here is that the more you open your heart, the more you start to become really expansive. You start to pull in, and it just becomes like effortless. Not to say that your journey is going to be effortless, but I'm just saying the people that you start to match that vibration becomes really, really juicy, and so it's so powerful. So big love to you. Thank you for being here
thank
today.
you. Thank you,
And thank everyone else for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this, please like, love, and share. And as always, be bold, be brave, be fearless, be the magic of you. Massive love, and we'll see you on the next episode. Therapist, spiritual guide, business coach. My unique methods blend mindset, energy, and business mastery for deep, lasting change. Ready to become unstoppable? Learn more at talkingwithterry.com.